Good morning and welcome to the Amputee Angler. And after what seems like an eternity, we're back out on the boat. We've just stopped off outside the marina and we're going to try and get some mackerel. Dean's with us today as well, and we are going to grounds untested today. We are going turbot fishing is what we're going to attempt to do. It's a little bit early. It's the, was it 3rd of May today? It's a start of May. Let's call it the start of May. Which is a little bit early really. They do start turning up any minute now on the banks. But I had a game plan in my head yesterday. I knew where I was going, a few wrecks on the way, and then I liaised with a charter boat friend of mine, Steve, who has been out on the banks I was going to go to the last couple of days, and I've struck out. They only caught one tiny little turbot for a couple of days worth of fishing. The wrecks are producing fish. There's a lot of pollock on them, bass. There is cod on some wrecks. But we're going to go somewhere different today. We're going to go to a completely new set of grounds, and we're going to attempt to get some stuff. Dino's got, hopefully,
First mackerel of the year.
our first mackerel of the year. Come on. Well done, Dean. That's our first mackerel of the year. Well done. So that's good. We got some fresh bait. Yep. So we got some fresh bait, which is good. I'm using my little boy spinning rod here. Oh, and I've got some as well. Here we go. Got two. That's one. There we go. First mackerel of the year for me as well, so that's good. We've got some fresh bait. That's handy. This is always nice. I have got some frozen stuff with me. It's always nice to. Sorry, let me take this back again. It's always nice to have fresh bait. So, but I didn't want to go as far as we're going without bait today. So the plan is to bomb offshore, work a couple of wrecks, a few banks, and then we've got a whole load of banky ground to go and try that I've never fished before. It looks very promising. Like I said, it is very early, so it's going to be a hero or zero day today. Hopefully it's hero, but if not, we're going to have burnt a lot of fuel for nothing. So we'll see how we do. We're going to catch a bit more bait here, and then we're going to get off. So I'll catch you in a bit. It's been a while since we felt this.
I've lost two.
I've lost one, yeah.
I had three on, I've lost one.
It's been a while since we felt these. These are a very welcome sight. Not for all the feathering, but for bait for us. Very welcome bait. Let's stay on the line. I'll see if I can get you. There's loads going through the sounder now. Can't show you at the minute because the camera's up, but there is loads of bait going through. That's handy. Fresh bait's always perfect. You can't beat fresh. Let me show you this sky. Just coming up over here over Brighton Marina. The camera never does it justice, but let me try and show you. That is a lovely set of red coming there, but they do say red sky morning, shepherd's warning, but we're going to ignore that. And we're going to get fishing. Right, second drift now. First one was not productive, but doesn't mean there's nothing on it. The bass boats I can see have gone straight to another mark, and there's not many on that at the minute either, and normally that's full up, so we will have a go down there. Everyone's preoccupied with bream at the minute, or bass, and rightly so, you know, good fish to catch, but we're using this opportunity to get somewhere else today. And we can always go and fish the bream or the bass like everybody else, or the place and the skate. All inside a couple of miles, we could easily do that, but those who've followed the channel for a while know that me and Dean are quite partial to turbot in terms of catching them, so we're going to go and try some new marks today. It is early, but that doesn't mean that we won't find them, so we'll have a go. Different mark now, and this is going to be a nice drift on this, but you might see it in view in a minute. We've got a lot of bass boats here with us. This tells me we're in the right area, but also I may well be Dean. Got a feeling we're donkey into this. Hold that. It's alright, it's fine. Just start the engine up for us. Don't panic, don't panic. We might miss it. Yeah, start the engine up. Just come hard right, hard right. Just knock it ahead slightly, just knock it here. And stop. How do you?
Is that right?
Yeah, ideal.
Sorry, I'm not that good at it.
Fine. There you go, you can see where we are now. This might be one where you have to take turns on the wheel here. Push on. In the wreck.
Do I need to go forward a bit?
Now you're fine.
Okay.
Snap up a bit. A minute. Right off.
Please got one over. I just don't. It's a bit weird because it's quick, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good cast. Actually, we should just go straight past it, anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll keep you away from it, you ain't got to worry there.
Yeah. Sorry. Let's not smash your boat.
I've got my boat, mate.
He's got the right idea there, isn't he? Because he just nudges up to it.
Yeah. Just be aware, you might have to just go astern if he gets a bit
Was that
close.
to the right, yeah?
No, astern is to the rear, but it'll be fine. Fine, he's drifting away from us now. So the sound of it was a wreckage.
Yeah, there is. There's enough there. About 5 foot.
Well, we did stop off at the, it's no secret where it was, you'll see it on the film, but we was in the substation of the wind farm. There was a couple of bass guys there getting bass, but we haven't really, I mean, we are luring now, but I haven't brought my light gear with me, and they were looking at us a bit funny, and it's their living, so me and Dean don't like interrupting that. So we had a couple of casts, see if we could snatch a couple of fish, and we had nothing doing, so we moved on. The fish they pulled up were quite small, so I'm not too worried. There's a lot of mayrot in the water. You can see it clouding up now. That may affect things. We just come now after what seemed like an eternity. We just come to another little mark. We are starting to come into an area where I want to start fishing for turbot, but it's basically now we've got a 0.3 drift speed. We're coming up to slack water, and I've set up a nice long drift on a wreck, just to have another quick go over slack, and then I'm going to use that time to bomb down another 15-minute odd steam I've got down there, 15-20 minutes. And then once that tide turns, we've got a whole 6 hours of drifting over a large area that I want to fish. So don't know what we're going to get. It's going to be, like I said on the start of the film, Hero Zero Day, but those days can also be quite fun when it becomes a hero day, not a zero. So we're going to keep fishing here for a minute. Dean's on a shad and a boom, or a red gill, sorry, and a boom, and I'm on a whitewater paddle tail lure, 120 grams this one I think, and I'm just using a large spinning rod just to get down, but we're going painfully slow towards the wreck, but when we get over it we should have a fair bit of fishing time. So that's that. I did mark a set of banks actually coming through earlier, so again we've got something else to fish at a later date, but we are going to hit this wreck and it's going to go right in it, but at the minute we're going nice and slow. So I'll catch up to the wreck a bit more and I'll come back to you in a second. Well, we're finally just about to come into the wreck. My drag's up. I'm just going to reset my lure because it's going to start coming into view any minute now. This is my it's my Penn Squadron 2 Pilk rod, a cheap little Mitchell reel. It's got 30-pound mono on it. It's just something I've used for playing about when I'm out a bit deeper and I'm working a bigger lure, or a big under an 80-gram slow jig or something like that. That's what I use. There's a lot more sporting. I could use my light spinning gear, but out here in this deep water, I'm first saying it's a little bit meatier because sod's law I'll catch something and it will smash me up. But there we go, we're on the bottom. There we go. And I'm just going to be lifting it up and down and then slow down. We are going to come right over the wheelhouse of this by the looks of it. I'm guessing it's the wheelhouse, judging by the shape of it. And it would be nice to snatch something of note, but it is slack water, but that is the time when you get a lot of pollock and stuff over slack. I do like a bit of tide, but slack water is lovely for working these lures. It's a 6.3 metre tide today, which is quite big for around this area. You know, anything over 6.8 is classed as massive, but 6.3 is about right for what we want to be doing today. Not that we've done it yet, I'm talking about it, but it's just starting to come in now, just seeing the break up of it. And we will only have one go over this because it's going to be a nice slow drift. So Dino's working a boom and a shad, and I'm working a big soft paddle tail. So we should have stuff covered between us. Oh, yep, fish on, fish on. There we go, fish on, guys.
Well done.
Straight over the wreck. Just come into it. Couple of initial knocks. And then a almost dead weight. And it's...
The net,
I will need the net, yeah. But you keep
fish.
Oh, there's me talking, it's not a pollock, it is a pollock. Net, Dean, please. Not massive, but it's a pollock. Cheers.
Got it.
Yeah. Well, I look silly, I thought that didn't fight like a pollock at all. But it is a pollock, and that is the start to the day. There we go. Oh, sorry, Dean.
That's all right.
I'll get it out in a second, but ain't a bad start. Let's get the net out of the side. I'm bashing Dean with the net, I've got no sense of awareness. So a little pollock, that one. There we go. Not a bad start, and that's on a whitewater soft paddle tail there. Nice little fish. And we're still on the wreck here, so I'm going to put him down there for a minute and I'll get going again, because this was straight over the wreck here, but that's not a bad go, that. First drift and a fish. Didn't fight like a pollock at all, that though. I called it a cod. It was a couple of solid knocks and then that was it. I know it's not a big fish, but very lethargic, that one. But I'll take that. They are smaller fish inshore at the minute. The bigger ones seem to be right out deep. So there has been a few nice fish caught, but you know, we can bounce off a couple of wrecks and get pollock of that size all day, but that's not really what we wanted to do. But this is on the way, so kills a bit of time. We're still on the wreck. This is all I'm doing, is just slow up, slow down. And I'll go back round that again. As we had that fish, I will go back round that again. The beauty of doing this, when it is slack water like this, it does pay to get you a nice drift on a wreck, and you do pick up the odd extra fish. But I'll go back round that again in a second and give us another drift over it.
There's fish jumping around the boat here.
Is there?
Yeah.
What mackerel?
I think so. Just there, see him?
Oh yeah. We've got it's coming live on mackerel today. We've had, obviously you see this morning we've got loads of bait. That's what's off the back of the wreck. I'll bring it in, Dean. Right. Yeah, there's mackerel jumping around the boat, which is a nice sign because we're well away from the shore now. So got some bass friends who want some mackerel. So well, that's not a bad start on that one. We'll take that. This is a lure. It's 120 gram this one, I think, give or take, and that's a whitewater lure. Bought a little wrecking pack from them, and here we go. Just tied straight direct, 30-pound mono. And that's it. All done. We shall go around that again.
Right, an orange.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There we go. Small one, a couple of pound, no more, but it's a fish. We're getting dispatched and we'll go around again. We're at dead slack water now. Just from that last drift between then and now, it's now gone to 0.2 of a knot. It was going a minute ago. We've got a little bit I just jogged it astern just because we were going to miss the bit of the wreck I wanted to get on. So I just jogged it astern and we're pretty much on it. The only time I go right up to a wreck when I'm drifting, normally you go in a big circle around it. The only time I go right up to it is over slack water, because otherwise you'd be half hour before you hit the wreck. So, but we haven't blanked, so that's good. Not that we blanked anyway with a mackerel, but proper fish, we've got one, so that's cool. It really didn't fight like a pollock though, it was really, really lethargic. Very noddy. But here we go, it's just come into view now. Trouble using mono over braid is mono's got a lot of stretch in it. So you have to really work it a bit more. Yep, fish on. Fish on again. Oh, I'm loving these white water lures. And this is why you go back round it a couple of times. You get one, there's normally a couple. Again, it's not big. Again, it's not giving me a very good fight either. It's a foul up pout. Give it down again. I thought we might have had another small pollock then, that would have been nice. Don't want pout. Got a lovely drift over this wreck.
Oh, the sun's coming out.
Tends to do that in the daylight.
Oh,
I'm
a comedian.
I'm a comedian, yeah, I am a comedian. You're right.
Got to laugh.
Oh no, that's what I bring to the party. You know, I don't bring nothing else. Just my comedy. Just my comedy. But that wreck is well in view, and I've said before on previous videos I'm an in it to win it guy, so I am going to go right down again in it. And there it is now. And this will be our last one on this. We will visit this one again later on today. There's some marks around it I want to fish anyway. But while that last slack water's there, I want to push down tide another 15-20 minutes. And I'll rather be going with the tide than against it, or over slack where I'm not getting any force against me. Wasn't a very big bit of the wreck, this one. See a mackerel jump over there though. All around us now, you can see them bubbling up. It's nice to know that if we want fresh bait, we can just pop out and get it. I love supporting my local tackle shops. I think, you know, they're brilliant. But a couple of packs of mackerel the other day. I never like coming out without any bait, so I always have some sort of frozen with me. And we've got squid, cuttle, and I bought some mackerel today. But 2 packs of mackerel, so 6 mackerel, were nigh on £7. We've had 20 this morning, just messing about. Right, we are off that wreck. I'll go around one more time, Dean. One more time. We'll have one more go because I can't resist it. I let it hit the bottom, just a couple of turns off. I'm just working it up and down. You do it exactly the same as on a reef. Whereas when you shad in, you drop it to the bottom. Little knock then. Yeah, when you shad in, you drop it to the bottom. And you then slowly bring it in 10, 15, 20 turns. This is just up and down. You can change the depth you work it at just by bringing it up a little higher in the water, but well, we are now on a bit of ground. I'm not going to say turbot ground or the mark because we're not at the minute. It's tide has just turned and we've come to a bit of ground that I have never fished before, so I haven't got any pinpoint locations. I've got no idea what works, what doesn't work. I'm just going to fish it like I do for turbot. So the rods are at the back now. We've just started to get some speed, 0.5, so it is going to start going that way. And we did cover some banks on the way here. So one rod's down at the minute. All we're doing today is we're fishing with the same sort of boom as you do on a shad. With a little, this is about a 6-ounce watch lead, and when the tide picks up, that'll go to a 10. That just then goes to a clip swivel, so you can unhook your trace if you get a fish. And then we've got a length of 30 pound fluoro. And on there I've got a few loomy beads, and I'm trialling out a new spoon today just because I've got one that had some rattles in it. I'm going to try it. And then that goes to a 6.0 Kamazan J hook, and on the other one I've got a 6.0 Varavas Circle. They're the hooks I use for turbot. And then on the business end at the bait It is just a side of mackerel that you've cut in half again, trimmed away the belly to make a nice little torpedo, and that is just hooked once through the tail. Now, we might not get any turbot today because we're trying new grounds and we are early in the season, but that there is all you need to catch turbot. Dino's fishing spoons because he likes fishing spoons, big spoons, but you don't need it. You haven't got to do any fancy rigs. It's that bit there at the bottom that will catch you that. Mackerel, garfish is another good one, or sand eel, launce. That's the baits you want. And all you're going to do is just let it hit the bottom and then drift along. And that's all we're going to do. And I'll come on to how we fish the banks in a bit when we get to them. But a lot of people don't catch turbot because they're just not on the bottom. So you've got to make sure that you're constantly in contact with that bottom. And as you're coming down out the banks, you're adjusting your line accordingly. But that's it, that's all we're going to do. So we're going to get down, then we're going to have some breakfast and have a bit of a chill, and then we're going to start narrowing down on what we're doing. So fingers crossed. Well, hopefully in view, I'm not sure, I'm trying these new camera angles out, but Dino's had a bite and he's got something on, he reckons. Only small. We are going in like a little divot, there's a lot of stuff. And you're always going to get dogfish when you're doing this, but who knows? How? Always the way, camera just behind
line as well. I've got my line.
There you go. Pout to start with, not what we want, but it is slack water, so we're going to get that. Until that tide picks up, we're probably going to get dogfish, pout, and the rest of it. I was just saying to Dean a minute ago there, we're not fishing the ground we know. So it's when you fish marks you know, and you catch fish, don't catch fish, you sort of know you're in the right area at least. Here we're going completely blind. But we do this to try and put more marks in our pocket later. There is a trawler going around there back of us, and he's not fishing on nothing, so we shall see. Well, I said it was slack water and we'll probably get some. Dino had a pout, and I've got the obligatory dogfish. There we go. But we get these out on the banks where we are normally as well, so I'm not too bothered at the minute. It is early days. That's why you get over dogfish, they will hurt you over their sandy tails. If you go that way, they're fine. Go the other way, it is like a fine grain sandpaper. Just get their tails, curl them up like into a ball, and they can't hurt you. But he swallowed this one down here, so I might have to get my forceps in a second. He's been a greedy little sausage, so we get him unhooked off camera, but pout, dogfish, and the tide's moving, and we are going to come up a bank shortly. Well, the first few banks that we tried were a bit of a bust. It was hard ground. We said we never fished it, so you don't know until you fished them. I've not had any info on where I was. No one knows where I am today, it's like pinpoint wise. But it was all hard ground. You can really feel it in the rod. Just noticed a big shoal of birds working in front of me. Yeah, it was really hard ground, and we get a lot of bumps. And we brought up rocks with the sponges on top 2 or 3 times, and we had a couple of dogfish and a couple of pout. So there's a wreck just near the ground we were fishing, and we're about to come onto it, and we're going to hit it bang on first time. So we're going to have a couple of goes around this wreck, and we are shifting through now. We're going 1.9 knots, so that tide has really picked up now. So I've gone over to a shad and a boom system. I will have a go with that lure again in a minute because it did catch, but that tide's probably a bit hard now for that. So the plan is to fish a couple of wrecks now on the way back to where we're going, and then we'll have another set of banks we're going to try, and then we might have a go on a reef for a little bit of bream, and then we're going to finally end on a few more banks and then a couple of wrecks on the way home. So it is an all in all a good day. This is coming into view, and it's a big wreck. First, I've never fished this wreck, so I don't know what it's about, and I'm in it already straight away. A big snaggy wreck, this one. That's gone. There you go.
I'm in.
And Dino's in first drop. So I hit a wreck straight away. It's a big wreck, this one. I'll try and get Dino in show for you. I'm with you, Dean, because I've lost my gear here. So
Okay.
that's a big bit of wreck, that.
I thought I was in the wreck at the same time as you then.
Right, so that's off the wreck, so that's just there. And I'll get the net ready.
Yeah, I'm nearly there.
You there?
Yeah.
Right, let's try and show you this. Well, you've got a long trace on that there. That's far too long, that. It's a bass. It's a bass. This is a nice bass, guys. That is a lovely bass. Look at that. Wow, that's a nice, good £5 that. We'll get this unhooked and we'll have a look. There we go. This is the importance of planning. If turbotting didn't go to plan today, we're prepared for wrecking and reefing, and Dino has pulled out a lovely bass. We're going to weigh it. It'll probably go £5 maybe, £4.5, £5, but lovely fish. And Dino, you're happy with that?
Over the main.
Happy days. There we go.
Yeah.
So first drift on that one. I'm going to go back around again, see if we can get some more. There might be a shoal. Was that quite close to the wreck?
Yeah. Because I thought, no, about eight off the bottom, but I thought, oh shit, I've gone into the wreck because you went into it. Is it about the same time?
Oh, we've gone back around again, guys. So the wreck is just about to come into view. We've got almost the exact identical drift line as last one. The line, the track line, and there's the wreck now. So I'm going to be naughty, go straight into it again and probably lose my lure. Dino's straight into a fish. Dino's straight in. Dino's in. Dino's really in here. I'm going to try and move. I can't move the camera because Dean, if you come and walk to the back of the boat a bit. Oh, I have one there as well. Yeah, you're okay, don't worry about that. I'm still fishing. I'll get you sorted out. The net's just there. Right, I'll bring one up. Right, I'm well clear of the bottom. So, watch that rod, guys, in case we get one. Dino's got one, second drop. In there, this time. A nice Pollack for Dino. We'll get him on hook and we'll have a look. Right, we're going again on the same wreck. They're two for two now. And because the tide's really pushing through now, it becomes a different ball game. You've got to be really quick. Because I'm setting this up for quick drifts to try and make the most of the tides and the time and the fish on the ground, hopefully. As soon as we're stopping, you've got to be out and putting your lure down. So, as we are now, that's a couple of pollock and a bass now. Funny old turbot trip, but that's the way it goes. We planned that if the turbot didn't work out, or while we were bouncing around grounds, that we would have marks to fish. So none of this is fluke, this is all planned. Hopefully this wreck's holding a head of fish and we can stay on here for a bit, because I'll quite happily do that if we find a bit. Still on my shads. Dino's having success with a red gill, a long thin red gill, and I'm on a pink cotton candy shad now. I was on a solid blue one, but wreck's just coming in now. Slightly on the end of this one. Slightly different area of the wreck there. I've come slightly south of this one and it's not as big. Really rocketing through it. 2 knot drift speed.
Yeah, I just saw that.
There's a guillemot just off our stern, and around here we call them Sussex penguins, because every year when the guillemots turn up, for those who aren't aware what a guillemot is, they're a little black and white bird, and all the local population starts posting that they've seen a penguin down the local beach. There's a lot of fish actually, just on, not even on the wreck yet, there's a lot of fish. Yeah, the locals start posting they've seen penguins, and it's just a guillemot. So me and Dean call them Sussex penguins. I'll tell you where it's coming in, don't worry. We're probably just about to hit it any second
It's
now.
water, isn't it? It's a shoal of fish.
Yeah, there's a shoal of fish just in front of the wreck. 2.2 knots, we are flying through here. When you're working a wreck, it's important that you get every bit of it. So if you find a bit of fish on one part of it, by all means keep going over it, but sometimes they can be down the side of it, on the stern, on the bow, in the middle. I've just missed the line slightly from where Dino had his 2 fish, and the wreck's not standing up nowhere near as prominent. It's almost flat on the ground, so there's obviously a sharp bit of it that they're sitting around. So that tells me I need to come slightly south by 50 metres. That's what we're going to do on the next trip. We're going to hit the bigger part of the wreck this time. Last couple of bits we've hit, we've sort of, it's been flat, there's not been much wreckage there. Even though it shows on the plotter, we've got a 3D plotter, it's quite flat, but this bit here should be the the bulk of it. There is fish there because we've caught some and we can see them, but we're really rocketing through here at 2.2 knots, which is a little bit fast, really. But it is what it is. No, nothing again, that one. Hopefully that's not our lot on this. We will go around one more time and I'll have a go with the jig head this time. That's a cut adrift now with nothing, so we may have done what I said at the start, snatched a couple of fish and may have to move. But that's okay. Well, mirror calm. We've moved now, we tried a little reef, tried a few wrecks, and we've got a little bite on this one. We've come back now to an area which I know is a turbot bank. I've caught turbot before. One of the closer marks I've got. I know it's sand. All the other ones we tried today, it was an exploratory trip. Unfortunately, they're all hard ground. We get a lot of big rocks come up with the sponges on them. So that's no good for us. A few doggies, a few pouts, and we have had the bass and the pollock today, so the backup plan has worked. But we've come here now in the hope of maybe trying to find that early turbot, or maybe pick up some skate. And Dino's putting down a little pout dead bait, potentially for another bass. So we have got a bit of interest on this rod here. I've got a turbot rig on this one, and I've got a little paternoster, 2-hook paternoster with circle hooks on this one, trying to target some gurnard. But again, we haven't even seen many gurnard either. We haven't seen any gurnard today. So it's just a little bit early for what we want to do, but we're here trying. And if nothing else, we know whether or not, but we have got a bite on this, so stay with it. We might see if we can pick something up. Just give me a little bit of line, just in case. We are just about to start coming up the bank any second now, so. Oh, got a bite. Dino's got a bite, yeah, Dino's got a bite. So we are, this is positive because we were fishing a minute ago for about 25-30 minutes for nothing. So this is positive at least. Even if it's not anything drastic. But I'll come back to you if we do get something sensible. My face is so red. Getting lots of little bites, and Dino's managed to strike into one. And we are just coming up the bank, but he thinks it's a pout. And I was getting bites that look like a pout, so it could well be the case. But we're going to find out what's the culprit. Oh, there's one now, that mine. There you go. See that? I haven't hit it though. Trying to do two things at once here. Hold and film. At least there's something down there. Mine's coming back again.
Nodding though.
Yeah. Once it comes
Probably
up,
a tail going nuts. Trying to wait.
yeah, that's a white in. Another species for the day though. Give us an answer to what it is. Welcome back. It has been a long hot day. It is roasting out here today. You wouldn't think it was start of May. It is absolutely. Dean just made a comment. It was like a tiddlywink. Yeah, so we've come now. Another wreck. Fished a bank a minute ago. Got a bite then straight away. Got a bite now. Got a bite. I'm getting bites. It's a good sign. Yeah, fish another wreck, and then we're going to fish another one, and then we're going to go and have a little play about for a bit. Just try and pick up a few more fish basically. To add to what we got. It's not been a bad day, but it's not been terrible either, considering we spent most of the day, or a lot of the day, trying for turbot on grounds we don't know. It's not been too bad. I suspect had we been wrecking all day today, we probably would have had a good day. It's the right tides for it, but you don't try things you never know. So we have fished this wreck before. It has got a net on it, and Dean had a bass off of it before as well last time in some really rough weather. And it's quite a big one, so that tide's now really dropped off. It's approaching slack water now, so we've done a full tide here now basically. We're full sort of 6-7 hours fishing by the time we're done. Oh, it's really clear. A bit of Mayrock cloud, but it is quite clear still. That might be the wrecks just starting to come in there now. The wrecks just starting to show. Fish on. There we go. Not big. Not have a fight at all really, a couple of little nods and that's it.
Still under there, can't we?
Yeah, we're still on, yeah, we're going so slow now. 160 feet of water. Here it comes, it is a pouting. There's a flop. There we go, that's the culprit. A little firetail sidewinder, or red gill, sorry. Well, there we go, that's the end of us. End of a long day. Well, I say long day, it's only 2:30, but I've been up since 3 and we picked up at 4. But a lot of miles covered today. As a pleasure boat, we do try to put the miles in. We could have just gone 2 miles offshore and caught rays all day and maybe had a play about for other bits, but we do like to try and get off and find new marks, and that's what the aim of today was. Went to some new ground for me, completely new ground, and it didn't pay off in terms of turbot, but it is still early anyway. If my charter boat friend Steve isn't getting them out on the normal marks, then we're not going to get them on the same marks that he went to because they're just not there. So we went somewhere else today, didn't pay off, but the plan of having a backup of wreck fish in between sort of filled the gap a little bit. Couple of nice pollock and a nice bass. Bass went £5 dead. So yeah, all in all, not a bad day and a beautiful day to be on the sea. So thanks for watching, do like and subscribe, and I will see you again for the next adventure shortly.